Good afternoon. I'm Youngah, as introduced. I'm the president of the KISTEP. I will be just give a brief introduction of my institute soon. So first of all, I am very pleased and honored to give an opportunity to give a talk in this Gender Summit 2014. Next is, okay. Yeah. So I will just give a brief introduction of the KISTEP, my institute, and I will just discuss about what will be the main gender issues in Korea, and also talk about the current status on these main issues, and I will just conclude with about future directions of these gender issues. So KISTEP is a brief word for Korea Institute of Science and Technology Evaluation and Planning. So our institute is in charge of the government R&D process in evaluation and planning. So first of all, we do plan by give a professional support on the establishment of national science and technology policy and the planning for future strategy and technology. Also, we give a support and the strategy building for national R&D, budgetary adjustment and allocation. Also, we give establishment of systems for sharing and spreading R&D related knowledge and information. Also, we do pre and after evaluation and for the R&D and the feasibility study of national R&D programs. So these are kind of some functions, but I think that I will just skip by because this is it will take quite a long time to give some detailed information. But I will just give some our key achievement during the last 16 years. KISTEP is established in 1994 with the mission of survey, analysis, and evaluation of national R&D system. And during the last 16 years, our key role has been kind of extended, such as by the year of 2009, we got a role, exclusive role, in charge of feasibility analysis in the national R&D systems. So, for example, if some ministry would like to launch their own R&D project extending, let me say, extending it is $30 billion. No, I have to say, yeah, it always, okay, it is, okay. Yeah. So in Korean word, it is 30 billion won. Then we have to evaluate whether that project could be worthwhile to execute. So if we give a good review, then the ministry could start. If not, the ministry cannot start a new R&D project. Also, so that's just to give a brief introduction about my institute. Let me just give some main gender issues in Korea. So I guess as all of you knew that we have a first female president, Park Geun-hye, who is elected about 2 years ago. And under her leadership, there is a quite good movement, good environment for taking consideration of the women's status, including we have, as you can see, we have this job recruiting bus here. Also, we have, if you go to the public transportation, such as bus, well, then you can find a priority seat for pregnant women. Also, also in many parking, also there are priority parking lots for women only. Also, we have a last night service in getting back home. So, and we, under the Kim Dae-jung government, we have this Seoul Ministry of Gender Equality and the Family. So here we have this, our former woman minister, Becky Hyung, just present here. So thank you for the participation. So I just would like to focus on the 4 aspects of gender issues in Korea in terms of the equity and the participation and diversity and the cognition. So For the case of equity, I will talk about in terms of the gender budgeting, and also for the participation, I will talk about participation in economic activities and also science and technology job opportunities. And also for the case of diversity, I will talk about, as all of you know, breaking in diverse fields and fostering outstanding female workers. And also, and lastly, I will talk about the cognition in the gender issue. So from the year of 2006, we had this gender budgeting system. The legal ground for this gender budgeting is by the National Finance Act and also by the Local Finance Act. I guess that some of the countries does have this kind of gender budgeting system. So in Korea, the government submit the government national budget by the end of the September, and the National Assembly will review that project. And we have this gender budgeting system so that we kind of review what the purpose of this gender budgeting is that to make some practical changes to operate the budget for gender equity and improvement of female status. So during the last 6 years, from 2010 was the first year where the National Assembly was received the government budget in terms of the gender budget. But my experience is that though we have this gender budgeting system, in order to be effective, in order to have effective gender budgeting system, the National Assembly should make some real change, whether that some government budget item will be good for gender equity or gender strengthening. But as far as I know, there were no practical changes of the budget through this gender cognitive process. So that means that though we have a kind of legal ground for gender budgeting, we need some kind of practical approach to have a real change in this through this reviewing process in the National Assembly. And secondly, I will just give us some brief review of how the status of the women participation in many areas. For the case of labor force participation, from the year of 2000 until 2012, we have less than OECD average women participation. So in the year of 2012, we only have 55% compared to US case has 67 and the OECD average is 63. Also, for the case of female workers in service-related science, we only have 19%, which is lower than the OECD average for sure. Also, for the case of female participation rate in R&D, we only have 17%. For the case of female workers with a master's degree or PhD, the average is 27% for the master's degree and 21% for the PhD degree. So overall, we have to create high quality job opportunities for women. Also, we have to expand and stabilize the part-time job markets to increase. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to quite be fast. But I am. So since we have one speaker less, so I will just give 5 more minutes. so let me excuse. Okay, so let's just go on what I would like to say. So we also need a settlement of a supporting system for balancing between work and family, just as every other country does. And so we also have to mitigate of career discontinuity caused by stages of the life cycle, such as marriage and childbirth. For the case of gender diversity, these 30% of the female students go to social science and then go to the humanities and natural science. But in case of the male student, highest percent goes to engineering school. Also, for the case of the female government employees. Here, 7th grade is kind of a status of the government officials. 7th grade is a kind of royal level government officer. In the year 2012, we have 39% of female workers, and for the 9th grade, we have 42%. So the ratio is increasing, but not enough. For the case of female leaders in public institution, we only have 5.7% for the public institution and only 2% for the private institution. We have, in Korea, we have about 17 ministerial level positions. We only have 1 female ministerial position for the Ministry of Gender Equality and Family. So this is the lowest among other countries. So we needed more action to procure diversity and leader expansion. So just let's go on to the gender cognition. So all of you know that we have to take innovation in science research, taking about the difference of the gender, such as this. We have to take care of this pregnant woman in the case of crashing test dummies. Also, for the case of mass design, we need to differentiate this respiratory system because women and men have a different respiratory systems. So, okay. So since our institute is in charge of this evaluation, we think that we have to kind of make some change in evaluation system in order to make some change in gender dimension in research and innovation. So just to conclude, we have, as you all know, that we will have the Gender Summit in Asia Pacific next year. But just give a brief introduction of the women's status in Korea and R&D status in Korea. You will be surprised that overall rank of the gender gap index is only 111th, but the Korea's economic status is around 10th or 20th in the world. So even though we are considered as one of the Asia's most developed countries, and we have better school enrollment and life expectancy than other OECD countries, but we only have this 111th gender gap index ranking. So in terms of this participation to economic activities, we are also below than 100, and also to equal wages, our status is 120th. So we need some action and more program to strengthen the women's status in Korea. Though our economic status situation is far above the level of 100th. So in next year, we're going to have this Gender Summit in Asia Pacific region. In order to make some real changes in gender dimension in science research, we need 4 stages: planning, execution, planning, selection, and evaluation and execution. And our institute, KISTEP, is in charge of this planning and evaluation. Also, we have this NRF, National Research Foundation of Korea, which is similar to NSF in Korea. So, and also we have this WIZED, the center, the president of WIZED is here, Dr. Hesuk Lee. WIZED is in charge of this science policy of supporting women scientists and engineers. So we, the 3 agencies, three institutes will work together to make real changes of the gender status in Korea. Thank you.